2020, what a year. It was a real roller coaster ride for many of us out there, not just in terms of the pandemic and the impact it's had on our lives, but in terms of time management, and we're learning to rework it and wrap our heads around home office, homeschooling, and everything that goes with that. In working with a lot of clients in the last 10 to 12 months, a lot of them have told me, they said, Whitney, I've got used to home office. I get everything checked off my list. Nevertheless, at the end of the day, when I look at all the boxes that I've ticked, I think, what have I really done? I mean, besides checking off some things off my list, they often say, I feel like a hamster stuck in this wheel, and I just work and work and work and work and work, but I'm not gaining any ground. I'm not breaking out of that hamster wheel. What can I do? And I came across this model, which I've actually used for myself and applied in a lot of coachings and online trainings, which people have found useful. I'd like to share it with you today. And the question is for you. What's really important to you long-term and short-term? And what are you doing every single day in order to reach your goals? And I'd like to give you an overview of the model and then give you a very concrete example from a person who is head of production or head of a production line in a company, and how she applied this to kind of restructure her day. So the model goes like this. When you look at activities and things you're doing during the day, there are things we do which have high value, and some of these things bring us long-term high value, and some of them bring them short and mid-term high value. I'll give you an example in just a second. There are other things we do that have little to low value in reaching our goals, and that's the question, what's really important to you? What do you really want to achieve? And there are things we find ourselves doing that have absolutely no value at all. Let me give you an example from this young woman who was head of a particular production line and how she applied it. And when she looked at this, she said, well, Whitney, to be honest, move this out of the way, what do I really want to achieve? What's my long-term goals for my job here? There's two things. I would like to, in production, increase the amount of quality, or by doing so, reduce the number of mistakes that are made in the production process. Improving quality. So that's what I get paid to do. That's my job. I said, what else? She said, well, the other thing I'd like to look at, we send our employees often to workshops and trainings. We do on the job trainings. And I often have the feeling that this knowledge kind of goes in one ear and out the other. It's not really applied long term. I don't see any really sustainable change or improvement in their skills on the job. So those were her two main goals, what she wanted to reach. And I asked her, in terms of activities, high value activities, what do you need to be doing every single day in order to improve the quality in production? And she thought for a moment and she said, well, to be honest, I need to analyze KPIs. And I said, analyze KPIs? Why is that useful? She said, where I can understand where all the mistakes are coming from. And I said, how much time do you need to do that? And she said, about an hour. A good solid hour, an uninterrupted hour where no one knocks on the door and asks, do you have a moment? I just have a quick question. Or my phone rings, or someone chats online, bloop, it comes up. 1 hour of uninterrupted time. And she had known from the training, and she'd read it before, multitasking is out. Every time we are interrupted, even if it's a, do you have just a second question? Or we answer a mail, or we hear our phone, bing, coming in. Our brain goes away from the activity we were just doing and is directed towards something new. And to go back on track, our brain needs 20 to 30 minutes to refocus. Minutes. Every single interruption costs us at least 20 minutes of refocusing time. That's a lot of wasted time. And she said, Whitney, that's exactly what happens. So I sit down after lunch and I start looking at KPIs, and this thing that should take an hour sometimes stretches into the entire afternoon because I'm constantly interrupted. Okay. I said, what else do you need to do if you want to, for example, here, have sustainable implementation of the skills and the trainings that you do? And she said, to be honest, I think I need to build more trust with the employees. And what do you mean? Well, I'm relatively new, I'm young, I'm straight from university, and I'm in charge of people in the production that have been here 20, 25, 30 years. And now I'm telling them how to do their job? That can't work. I said, what do you need to do instead? She said, what would help would be to do daily walkthroughs and build trust. Improve communication, listen to them, involve them early. How much time do you need to do this on a daily basis? She said, well, about 30 minutes. 30 minutes will be good. I said, you're telling me if you want to reach your overall goals and break out of this hamster wheel, you need about an hour and a half every single day? She said, right. Then I would have about 6.5 hours for everything else I wind up doing. And that's exactly what the theory says, that we need an hour and a half to 2 hours every single day of focused working time if we want to reach our goals. And that also means understanding what goals do you have? What activities are you doing that are going to bring you forward long term? Then I ask her for examples here of things, activities she does, which has little to low value in terms of reaching these goals. And she said, for example, taking part in meetings that are poorly planned or have no time management, people dialing in late, being unprepared. Or she said these knocks on her office door in production. Do you have a second? I just have a quick question. It'll only take a minute. She said, granted, this also belongs to my job. This can be improved, and this is an issue we can address, but even taking part in these meetings, they may not be the most exciting thing, are still part of my job. It's part of the job description, and also being available. The question is, do I have to be available every single minute? Can I block an hour of uninterrupted time in the afternoon? Yes, I can, she said. And she actually sat down with her supervisor and talked it over and explained what she needed to do. And for the last 3 months, she has blocked 1 hour every afternoon with a sign on her door. Her emails are off. Her phone is off or on mute. And she doesn't take any online chats. And she told me recently before Christmas, she said, Whitney, it is amazing what I have learned to do in this hour in terms of analyzing these KPIs. And every single morning I have a 30-minute walkthrough, sometimes 45 minutes because we go into such depth. And it's totally changed just in 3 months, the relationships, the amount of trust that we have with each other on the production floor. It's amazing. I said, are there any things down here that you would identify as no value? She said, yes. Meetings I don't even need to be at, where my attendance and my presence is not really necessary. And she said sometimes these online chats are just small talk and that aren't really needing my expertise. She told me too in this follow-up coaching call before Christmas, she said even that she's now addressed with her supervisor. Here, meetings she doesn't need to be at. And she's got out of 3 of them per week. That's a lot of time. And here too, they as a management team are also addressing these poorly planned meetings and starting to hold people accountable. It's not about eliminating all of this at the bottom. It's about making time for what's really, really important to you. Finding the 1, 2, maybe 3 things that you really want to focus on, that bring you the highest value for your job, long-term, mid-term, or short-term. and finding the time, blocking the time, and realizing then how much energy you have to tackle all the other things that belong to your job. That's my question for you. What's really important to you? What's your goal? What do you want to reach? And how much time do you need for it on a daily basis? So get out there and grow your life, grow your potential, and focus on what's really, really important to you.